Hey, Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a polecat hanging onto our ceiling fan.
I don't believe you.
Well, you're just gonna have to take my word for it. Let's talk about Galzyr. Let's talk about the good, the bad, the ugly.
I think we should probably start with, why are we talking about polecats?
Yeah, so you're probably wondering why we are talking about polecats. Before we started playing the Land of Galzyr, I didn't even know that polecats were real. I thought that's just what you called like a feral cat.
I thought it was what you called a skunk.
Oh.
But apparently they're their own distinct species.
They are.
They do spray like a skunk?
They do.
Okay. So that's where the confusion comes from, I guess. They're like a cross between a ferret and a skunk, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We've learned lots about animals playing Lands of Galzyr, which is full of animals.
Yes. And I must say here, it's delightful. It's delightful.
It's been very interesting watching you read cards, and every time it mentions an animal, like, it's not like you're seeing a picture of a cute panda. It just mentions that there's a cute panda, and you immediately seize up.
Well, I see the picture.
Uh-huh.
I don't have to see a picture. I am seeing a picture. But yeah, like the red panda, like... Come on.
So yeah, Lands of Galzyr, the new game from Snowdell Design, the folks behind Dale of Merchants, which we have not played, but now I kind of want to get my hands on. A very well respected game, is my understanding. But this is their new release. It just came out. The Kickstarter fulfilled a month ago?
Yeah.
So, somewhere around there. We backed it, so we got it as soon as they started fulfilling. And so far, it's been pretty great. What is this game? It's a storytelling engine. At the heart of it, that's really what it's about. The gameplay itself is fairly straightforward and simple. But if you are looking for really rich story, almost a DM-less RPG,
right.
It's hard to go wrong with this box.
Yes. If you are not into games that have a heavy storytelling component, this game is not for you.
Yeah.
This game is not for you, because the storytelling really is the secret sauce here. The gameplay, like Jeremy said, is pretty straightforward. The characters are pretty awesome, but the story that you're developing as you go along really is what makes this game so incredible, I think.
Yeah, so the setup here is that Galzyr is a land filled with animal folk. You are going to pick one of 4 adventurers to play. I think there might be a couple of others that we don't have for people who backed like the deluxe edition or something, but the base edition of the game comes with 4. Thus, it's 1 to 4 players. You pick one of these starting characters. They're all little animal people, like Caradai, my newt scholar here, and Wendy's favorite,
Boomer, the marbled polecat.
Yes.
Oh, I love them.
As you can tell, you quickly become attached to these characters. They start out with some cards that have some flavor text on them to give you sort of a feel for who these characters are. A starting quest.
And the starting quest really helps you to understand why your animal that you're playing is here in Galzyr.
Yeah. They give you some much needed background and again really flesh out who this character you're playing is.
Yeah.
But who they are is also up to you to a degree. They're going to start out with some proficiencies. If you've played RPGs, this is going to be familiar to you. You've got 6 different skills here, all of which they can have different levels of proficiency in. So, Karadai here, for instance, has a little bit of proficiency in survival, a little bit in communication, and a lot bit in books and knowledge.
A lot bit, huh?
Mm-hmm. And so this, it's very simple. These little pips, which you can just sort of stick into the board, because you will have opportunities as you play to move these around if you want, they determine the dice that you can roll. So again, much like an RPG, you're going to come across skill tests as you're going around adventuring in Galzyr here, and normally you would roll 5 of these black die, and use those results to see how well you did. The problem with these is they have 1 of each skill type on each side. So the odds of you getting the skill that you want to show up, pretty small.
13.5%. I'm just kidding.
But if you use these colored die that are colored to match whatever skill they're associated with, not only do they have more of that type of skill on it, some of them have double. So you can see here there's 2 swords on this. So you get 2 successes on that die roll. So having those little pips in the associated skill type really increases your chances of having a good outcome when testing that skill. That's kind of the entire gameplay right there.
Indeed. So I will tell you, my favorite way to play this game is when Jeremy and I move our characters in tandem around. When we go out and share adventures and quests. So we play it a couple of different ways, and we rotate basically every single time we play. Sometimes we go out on our own and do our own thing, and then the other half of the time we travel together. So when we're together, we're able to do tests together, which allows for me to use Jeremy's dice as a buff, and vice versa. So for Boomer, you can see here's where his skills are, and then Jeremy's pick up here and go around. So when we're testing for the in common attributes, it makes it a lot easier to get successes or to move along. So you see a lot of neat stuff happening because our characters, Karadai and Boomer, they offset each other almost perfectly.
Yeah, we're both terrible at observation. I think that's the one thing we have in common.
In real life and in Galzyr. But I think when we're traveling together, it allows us to just see a lot more of the world here and get a little deeper in it. But then when we're going off and doing our own thing, it allows us to kind of develop our characters in their own special way.
Yeah. So how does this all work? As Wendy said, we're going around, we're moving our figures around the board. You have this lovely board here. It's double-sided. One for 2 seasons on each side. You've got autumn and winter on one side, and this is the spring and summer on this side. And you're basically moving around to these places, and as you come to them, you're drawing cards out of this Rolodex-like device here.
Can we just give a shout out to this? We've played a lot of card games. We play a lot of card games. I have learned I never hesitate to purchase an upgrade to keep cards organized in a good manner. This is the best organizational tool I've ever seen for a card game. Mm-hmm. And I really love the way that it keeps, because there are so many cards that go in with this, it keeps them organized in a way that it's not hard at all to dig cards out, because unlike other card games that we play where you just have this set number of cards that you're playing with this time, so you have to search for them only that once and then go through them. We use that deck, I call it the Rolodex, but that large group of cards every single time. You don't pull out just like a little subset, you're using the whole thing. And so I love the fact that they put the idea and the thought into the design to make it easy to keep up with what's where in here.
Yes, and the Rolodex itself works beautifully in tandem with the Storybook app. So this is an app-supported game. It comes with this. I honestly, this is the only way that they could have done this, because this thing has literally hundreds of story entries in it. If they tried to give us a book or cards with all of that stuff in it, yeah, it would be as thick as a phone book.
Yeah.
So honestly, both for environmental reasons and reasons of keeping your sanity, I know people have mixed feelings about using apps for games. This one works really well, and I think it was honestly the only reasonable choice.
Absolutely. And it opens it up to add more in the future.
It does.
Because this is a game that I could play forever.
Well, and you probably could. I mean, again, so we've got over 300 cards in the Rolodex here. Like I said, there are hundreds, maybe 1,000 stories in here. It wouldn't surprise me. They were around the 400 or 500 mark of story entries when they were playtesting this thing. Mm-hmm. So I have no idea how many they ended up with in the final game, but a lot. And so basically, you land on a space, and it's going to determine what card you draw out of here, what card you draw out of the event deck, and those will refer you back to the storybook that will give you some more flavor about what's actually going on in that place. So you basically you land on a spot and you play out a little scene. The world itself changes as you go. Some of the decisions you make will have impacts. Like we've said, it's a game for people who really want to immerse themselves into a story and really sort of take over and embody their chosen character. Because that's the magic of the game right there.
It is. So I think my favorite part is being able to tailor the tags on the items that I choose to carry for Boomer. You can change your entire character and your entire story just by changing one item, because it's bringing you in new tags that are going to give you a completely new set of attributes that's going to cause the game to play very differently. The same thing with rewards or allies that you pick up along the way, extra items that aren't included in your backpack. It can really change the way that the game plays for you. So you learn to be really selective, or, I've been playing with a lot of climbing cards here lately, so I'm going to switch out a climbing card for a swimming card or for a skiing card. There's lots, so many different ones, and just when you think you've seen them all, you see a new one come out and it's like, what does that even mean? What am I going to do with this soap? And then you find out that soap is one of the most helpful cards that you can add. So I really love just the way that you can personalize it to you, and how you can change that personalization when you get tired of a certain way of playing, or you want to kind of steer the story into a different direction. You can change out those items as they come along and have a whole new character and a whole new story.
Yeah, and in another brilliant move here, again with the Rolodex, they allow you to save the game, quite literally.
Yes.
So when you get to the end of a season, you can take all of the cards that make up the world state. So that's going to be your event cards. You have cards that actually go on the city tiles to reflect changes that happen in those cities. All that stuff goes behind the little world slot here. And then your character cards, so all your items, your companions, anything you've got like that, there's a little tab here for each character. You just slot those cards in there. And then the next time you're ready to play, you take those out, give them to the appropriate person, you're ready to go. Mm-hmm. This thing sets up and tears down in 10 minutes tops. It's pretty brilliant.
Absolutely. And you know me. The first time we played it, I really enjoyed it. The second time we played it, I was ready to just do nothing but play this game for the rest of my life. And when I find a game that I like that much, I'm gonna start looking for every single upgrade that's available, every single expansion that's available, every little thing I can add to like prolong that playtime. I'm gonna look for it because that's just who I am. With the Lands of Galzyr, I haven't even thought about an expansion yet because we are gonna get hundreds of play hours out of this. This is a game that just with the base, we can play this pretty regularly for a year, maybe two, and still just continue on along our journeys with our players and it not be boring or monotonous or playing the same thing over and over and over again. It's not a game where you're gonna need expansions anytime soon anyway.
Yeah, which is good because it just came out, so there aren't any.
Yeah, but this, it's nice when you get a game and to be able to enjoy the game at its fullest, all you need is the base. You don't need, the base and then maybe this add-on thing, or, it's not necessary to have this storage, but it makes it a lot easier. Like, everything you need comes contained in this base box for months, if not years of play. That's really enjoyable, really cozy.
Yeah,
it's definitely a cozy game, and just the story is compelling and interesting. And again, I've imprinted with my character from this game in a way that I haven't with a character in a game that we've played in a really long time.
Yeah, and you do need to bring some of that to it yourself to fill in the gaps to make that really stick. But not a lot. Not some games require you to do a lot of the work yourself to bring that story and that identification with your character out. This one, the writing is so well done. It does not need very much from you. I would highly recommend this to anyone who, like us, maybe, is interested in full, bigger book tabletop RPGs, but it's really hard to get a group together to play one of those. This is really good at giving you that feeling without having to have a GM and a full regular group to run the game for you. It's also really good if you have someone who's curious about that to introduce them to concepts that are going to carry across to most tabletop RPGs.
Also, a lot of times playing tabletop RPGs, I get really intimidated because I'm surrounded by all of these incredibly creative, quick on their feet, like, can just move through storytelling like a second nature. That's not who I am. I can tell you the rules, I can tell you the values of what you're doing, but it's a struggle for me to come up with that story part. So this gives you the fun and the adventureness and the tailor it to your own preferences that TTRPG is going to give you, but it is not intimidating like sitting down with a table full of super creative folks and then you're sitting there and your character's name is Wendy. Because my character is always named Wendy because I can't think of a name off the tip of my tongue like everybody else can. So it is a nice way to like get more comfortable in that format and to just kind of dip your toe in and see if it is something that you're interested in. But it also is just kind of a nice place to stop. And the ages for this is 14 and up. I could see us playing this with our nieces and nephew. I could see them playing it with their friends. I also could see us playing this with our parents. So it is a game where you're going to get a wide range of player age inclusion there too, because it is, I don't know anyone that I would say this game is not for, except for people that don't like storytelling in games.
Yeah. If you are really just a mechanics person for games, which is fine. I mean, I'm I guess I'm not really. I'm sort of in between. I like both. But if you are really just, I don't care that much about story, I just care about the mechanics of the game.
This is not for you.
Yeah,
there are lots of really fun games out there for you.
Yeah.
But this is not on that list.
And the mechanics here are solid and interesting enough, but they're not going to satisfy someone who wants really crunchy mechanics.
Yeah.
And especially if you don't have patience for story, because there's a lot of reading.
It is 90% storytelling.
Yes. So, we wholeheartedly recommend Lands of Galzyr.
Yeah. I feel like every single time we sit down to review a game, I'm like, it's the best game I've ever played. I love this game. Go play it. But this is the first game that we've played in a long time that I think about when we're not playing it. I'm starting a solo playthrough of this because we have too many other things going on, too many other games, too many outside game land obligations for me to get enough playtime to satisfy like that itch to play. And so I'm starting a solo playthrough in addition to our cooperative playthrough that we're doing. Like, I think about this game. I love the character. I love the land. I love everything about it. When we played My Father's Work, I said there would never be a better game that comes out in 22 that's better than that. And I stand corrected. You might not agree with me on that.
Really? Okay.
But I think about Boomer. But not just Boomer. I think about everything about this game when we're not playing. It occupies a lot of my brain space.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, I agree. I think My Father's Work might very slightly edge this one out for me.
It's a great game.
But only very slightly. And I mean, if you all have seen our review for that, which if you haven't, you should go watch it. Mm-hmm. I'm pointing like I can put a link to it in here, but we're not partners, so I can't. Sorry.
But if you are subscribed to our channel, we could start doing things like
yes. But that was we said at the time our favorite game of 2022 so far.
Yeah.
So the fact that I'm saying this one only very slightly is below it for me, I think should tell you how highly we both hold this game. So Snowdell design, excellent work. Truly, I can't even imagine the amount of work that had to go into creating this, the amount of the words written,
the Google search history of just animals, you know?
Yeah.
Because every single card that you pull, and again, there's 300 plus of them, probably 75% of those have a different animal on them. So you don't see the same animals coming again and again. You see lots of different animals and lots of different types of animals. And so just the time that it took to compile that list, I just...
Yes, thank you for what must have been a lot of work. You guys have done a tremendous job creating a really robust...
masterpiece.
Great storytelling engine.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
Yeah. The Kickstarter just fulfilled. I'm not sure if they are selling these on their site yet.
They are. Along with, there aren't a lot of upgrades, but there are some, I wouldn't even call them upgrades. I would just call them accompanying pieces.
Sure.
That you can get, like branded sleeves, a journal where you keep up with your gameplay.
Okay.
I'm telling you, on December 10th. Yeah, but just things to go along with it. But again, what you get in the base box is all that you need for hours. Hundreds of hours of entertainment here.
For dollars to hours of enjoyment, this is the second best value game I think we have ever purchased.
Right. Behind Gloomhaven?
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. We haven't played enough of this yet, there's so much in here. Maybe it will outpace Gloomhaven at some point, which is something I never thought I would say. So
we'll find out.
Yeah, we will. We're going to be playing a lot of this, so tune in back here if you want to see some of that.
Right.
I will include a link in the comments to the Snowdell design page if you want to go pick one of these up.
Yeah.
Great gift for your board gaming folks for the holidays. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you later.
See you later. Can we get a polecat for a pet?
Absolutely not. I'm pretty sure that's not legal.
Christmas is right around the corner.